and present my slides.
Mhm.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay. Yep. Okay. All right, everyone, welcome. Welcome to the info session of GDSC York University. My name is John Poon, and today we're here to tell you about what our club is. And
John, you're muted. Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Okay. Sorry, let's begin again one more time. Sorry.
Looks like
Hello,
somebody
everyone.
forgot theirs.
Sorry. Sorry, everyone. Let's begin one more time. My name is Jong Hoon. I'm the DSC lead at York University. Welcome to our first info session. Today we're joined by Madusha from Google Experts. Hello, Madusha. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for joining us. So we're here to tell you guys about what our club is and what you guys can take away from this from our workshops, events, and our talk shows. So, Madusha, why don't you begin with your presentation?
Okay, before I get started, everybody on the chat, please put a comment saying where you're from and what you're studying in school. I want to get a good understanding as to what the audience is and what they're studying, and I can cater my presentation accordingly. And don't hesitate to throw questions on the chat about anything as I present. You can interrupt me, that's not a problem. And as I go through, I'll be able to clear certain things out and trying to answer some of those questions out as well. I don't see anything happening on the chat. I think we have a bit of a delay, so I'm going to give a few seconds. I think, John, tell us a little bit about York University. And I thought you were going to do an intro to your team and go through a few slides.
Yeah, okay, so let's do that first. Give me one moment. All right, so let's begin. So as I said, my name is John Poon. I'm the DSC leader here at York University. Today I'm joined by my fantastic and talented executive team. So I'm actually a third-year applied math and economics major here at York University, and my specialization and my interests are mainly in data science and in quantitative finance. Specifically, I like my main interest is in probability models, time series, and economic forecasting. And these are our fantastic and talented DSC team for all of the 2021 to 2022 executive team. Kanika, why don't you start us off by introducing yourself?
My name is Kanika. I am fourth year computer science student, and I'm really interested in business intelligence and data analytics. And I'm really looking forward to be the co-lead for the upcoming semester.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Kanika. So next up is Alan. Alan, go ahead.
Alan, you're muted.
Alan, I think you're muted.
Hi, folks. I'd like to was able to get on. Are we introducing ourselves?
Yes, go on.
Okay, great. Hi, folks. My name's Alan. I'm going to my 5th and final year of software engineering at the Lausanne School of Engineering at York. I really enjoy coding. I've done a lot of hackathons. I've done some internships. I'm running an event which you're going to hear about later on in this presentation. But I'm super duper excited, to do lots of things with you guys. And I have more surprises for you later.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alan. Bailey, you're up next.
Hi everyone, my name is Bailey. I'm a third year computer security student at York, and I'm really interested in hackathon, and I've been participated and active in Major League Hacking communities, and I'm looking forward to connect with everyone at DCSE York, and thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Bailey. Steve, why don't you go ahead?
Hello everyone, my name is Steve and I'll be the community lead this year. I'm in my third year of computer engineering at the Lassonde School of Engineering at York University. And I always do my best to be active in the community, participate I like taking part in hackathons. I really like coding. My favorite programming languages, I would say, are Java and Python. So I look forward to interacting with you guys. Hi.
Steve, where are you from?
Originally or?
Yeah, originally.
I'm from the Congo.
Okay. I like how diverse your team is. I think you guys are very heavy on the data science side. So I know there's a few data scientists, very heavy on the Python side, which is good to see. And John, you're not a typical computer science major too, right? You come from a math background. Okay.
Yeah, I was originally an economics major, but I realized how math was so much important in in what I was trying to do, and then I made the transition to applied mathematics major. And then I realized, what can I do with economics and finance together with the math knowledge? And then I found that, I could go off into a quantitative finance field, and I found that really interesting.
So I think Armand wants to get back on too.
Yeah. So last but not least, we have Armand, our first year.
Hi, my name is Arman, if you want to call me that, and I'll be the first year representative for the semester. I'm majoring in computer science, like a bunch of you in chat, and I'm from Toronto, like a bunch of you too. I hope we can, I hope everyone's looking forward to this club and all the events that we're gonna, partake in, and yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I can switch to my presentation now. Thank you so much, GDSC York University. As you can see, this is a very impromptu, very casual community event. Ask a lot of questions. If we want us to clarify anything, we're more than happy to do that. I'm more than happy to do that. And it's good to see how diverse the whole team is, and hopefully the audience that's listening in as well. So I'm Madisha Kure. I help run the GDSC community within Google across Canada and the US with my colleagues, Danny. So these are my credentials, my contact information if you want to follow me on Twitter or track me down on LinkedIn. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what GDSC is all about, and any questions you want me to clarify, put a comment on the chat, and I'm more than happy to take as many questions as you throw at us. So I'm based in Waterloo, not too far from Toronto. And before I get started, here's a code of conduct. We always encourage our communities to follow us event guidelines across. If you have any questions, if you feel uncomfortable, just make sure the leadership team will share this with you all. That being said, as you can see, the team that presented, we come from different backgrounds. We come from different technical and knowledge backgrounds as well, not just ethnic backgrounds. So be nice to each other. We always want to celebrate diversity across. So before I get into what GDSC is, so you might wonder, how do I become a GDSC lead? So John, for example, applied. Had sent in an application. He also had to send in a video to show his personality a little bit. So we had to go through thousands and thousands of these applicants, and we did have a blast. We did have a blast going through it. I'm going to show you a few clips.
Hello, Google. Look at your DSC. Now back at me. Back at your DSC and back at me. Sadly, they aren't me, but they could be if they actually sought out new learning experiences, worked closely with administration, and organized events about inclusivity and STEM. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're watching a video of me, finding ways to inspire students to get involved on campus and support women in tech, all while studying a degree in software engineering. They could be me, or you could just pick me.
So you had to show your personality and not just your past experience or leadership skills. So we looked at a lot of those variables, and what happened after was we had a few conversations with them. We gave them access to our community Slack, where they get to meet and connect with other GDSE leads across North America, and we have a global access as well. So globally, we have about 1,500 chapters across the world. And in North America, we have about 170. Then they went through some training programs, and then they get access to a lot of our exclusive content pieces and content bundles. So becoming a GDSE lead was quite a process, and kudos to John for going through this. Plus, he already started running a number of different events. He's going to talk a little bit later about what those events are, and as you can see, put a great team together. So we are off to the races, eh? So when I say Google, please drop a comment. Even the core team who's listening in, welcome to put a comment on the private chat. What comes to mind? What's the brand represent to you? Anybody? I know there's a few seconds. No? Okay, I'm not going to wait. So a lot of people relate to it as search, right? So everybody knows Google as search, and some of them might know the relationship between Google and YouTube. Some of them might know the relationship between Android and Google as well. So what a lot of people don't know is we have more than 9 products that touch more than 1 billion people on an average every month. So that's a lot of engagements with our technology coming from all these different backgrounds. So what does 1 billion people look like? So to give you an example, since we are in North America, if you combine North and South America, all those countries together, there's about 1 billion people there. And there are 35 different countries, 12 different languages, more than 12 different languages, and covering 9 different time zones. Now, just imagine how diverse that community is, right? That means you need to build policies, or you need to agree to policies of 35 different countries. Language support needs to be covering all those different languages. Now, on top of that, let's assume, like, I'm a Mac user. I'm an iPhone user. Not everybody's using Android. Not everybody's using a PC, a Chromebook, or a Mac. So there's all these different variables that we need to take into account when we're building technology. So as a result, what ended up happening is we realized we couldn't do that alone, right? All these different products, but then we also have to support it and scale it. So that's why we came up with this Google Developers Initiative back in the day. And GDSC, Google Developer Student Clubs, for example, is a part of that community umbrella itself. So the people who run this, people who support like myself, we do have the battle scars to prove it. And what I mean by that is, so back in the day, I was working for BlackBerry. After BlackBerry, I ended up working with a startup with one of my friends. We created this, and we did okay, like building applications on the BlackBerry platform, because that's what we were familiar with. We had some success, but then we were trying to switch to another platform because we realized what things were trending, and we didn't have a real community to go reach out to, connect with, and ask questions and get educated, right? So there was no place to kind of go. And I was fresh off, I just got out of my master's degree, just got out of working at BlackBerry, and the community was very shattered and scattered all over the place. The market wasn't mature. But when I joined the second startup, when I was doing the second startup, again, similar problems that we ran into. So 10 million downloads, but we had to switch from a freemium business model to ad-based business model. So this was a gaming company, mobile gaming company at the time. So there was a lot of learning, a lot of resources that were not available. But then when I ended up working as a mentor and a manager at an incubator, where I worked with 2,500 different entrepreneurs, we realized, okay, if we bring all these people together and make that process efficient, even if you have a question, even if you have an issue, you can always reach out to somebody and get an answer quickly within the community itself. So the community concept was like, I kind of stumbled upon, and then I kind of embraced it. Now with Google, with developer student clubs, and we want to spread that and build other things around it. So everybody who works in my team have this kind of a similar story. So keep that in mind when you're going forward. We don't want you to feel alone. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So always, if you even have a question right now, don't hesitate to drop it. And when you're a part of this community, make sure to embrace that as well. So our process is very simple if you really think about it. We have a 1 to 50 many approach. So 1 being Google, few being the Developer Student Club members, member chapters, and then the many being the attendees, the members who are joining those clubs. As you can see, the arrow goes both ways. Because yes, we are going to send you content bundles, we are going to send you workshops, we are going to ask you to run special events or participate in some of our big events. But also, we want you to share some of that feedback with us about our technologies, about what issues you might have working with it. What did you end up building with it, right? So there's a lot going back and forth, something to keep in mind when you're going through. So as I mentioned, I told you that there's a huge umbrella, and GDSC is a part of this. So there's another community group called Google Developer Groups, who is a sister organization to Google Developer Student Clubs, right? So GDSC is based on campuses, universities, colleges. GDG is based on city level. So if you are in Toronto, I think Toronto has 3 different chapters. There's GDG Cloud, and then there's GDG Android, and then there's GDG itself, just covering all the other technologies as well. So there's a huge community out there, and globally there's more than 1,000 chapters. North America wide, there's about 170 chapters, and they on average do about 7,000 to plus events. I know that COVID, things haven't been the same, so something to keep in mind. And we also have another community called Women Tech Makers. This is to support women in tech. Either you are already in tech or you're thinking about getting into tech. This is a great peer-to-peer network that built globally and scaled globally. Something, again, that if you're interested to take a look at. And Google Developer Experts. So this is interesting because I also manage this community in North America. These are individuals who are passionate about our technologies, who are well versed in our technologies, but who don't necessarily work for Google. So they go out, they do talks on behalf of us, they evangelize on behalf of us. Now the beauty is these individuals can come and do workshops and talks to your community members as well. So something to keep in mind. So why am I presenting this? By the way, we have about 800 plus globally. 196 last time checked in Canada and the US. So yeah, why am I presenting this to you, all these 3 different communities, to show where you fit in. So as you can see, GDG, WTM, GDE, arrows go both ways. Why? There are GDEs who are GDG members, or community leads, who happen to also be WTMs. And we see you as GDSC leads, as well as GDSC members. Eventually, even during campus or after you graduate, slowly getting into being a member of these other communities, and you still be a part of our overall Google developer community in the long term. So that being said, so why are you here, right? What's our mission? So we realized that the first thing when you talk about technology is this is not a computer science club. This is a technology club. The first thing is awareness, lack of awareness. And what I mean by that is, so let's say John, for example, he said, He came from a business background, economics background, the value in math, right? But now, if I can show him what he can use with his business, economics, maths background, maybe just a quick example or two using Google Sheets, very simple, right? How to optimize some data, how to present it with Data Studio, for example, and now when he's comfortable, then if I can show him how to use some app script on the back end to automate some of those processes, and when he's comfortable with that, I can show him how to do a little bit of Python and bring it to the cloud and automate it even further, or scale it even further. Now, that awareness of not knowing what's out there, because either you're not a computer science student, you're scared of technology, you're worried you're not going to get it, but showing a little basic things and being aware of what the possibilities are can change your members' careers in a drastic way, right? So keep that in mind. Sometimes it's the little things that you want to put out there, and if you happen to know somebody who's a member of this community who's not necessarily a computer science student, but might benefit, it might be entrepreneurial, right? Ask them to come and join some of those other workshops. They might find this valuable. So awareness is number one, and then number two is accessibility. So what is accessibility? Now it changes from the region to region. So if you go to Sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, accessibility is when you talk to kids, they're like, "Hey, I don't have a computer." They don't have access to computers in some of these regions. But North America, we have the privilege. On average, we have a lot of students who have access to these resources, but they might want access to something like Google Cloud credits. So we have put together content bundles, processes, so you get access to the real thing, not a simulation. You get to go train on the real cloud and play around with it, build things with it, experiment with it, get trained on it, collect badges on it. So accessibility is number two. And then education part. So that's why we said we have exclusive content bundles that we send out to our leads. Their leadership teams can do workshops on behalf of you. And we also have speakers like GDEs, Google Developer Experts, and Googlers who can come and do some of those workshops. So now you are aware, you got accessibility, you got access to some of this tech, you're educated as to what you can do with it. And now what we want you to do is we want you to go build things with it. We would love to see what you do with it. So those are like the 4 pillars of what the overall mission behind GDSC is across the world, right? So in summary, so this is like a quick breakdown of what I just said. And when you talk about building projects, now this can be solo projects. These can be things that you do with your capstone project, for example, or like you have a startup idea, you want to bounce it off with some of your friends and see whether you can build it up. And we love to see some of those showcases on campus. Maybe we can do it citywide in Toronto, for example, and then make it some of the top ones, we can showcase it across North America, and then even present it to or send it to Google Solution Challenge. So what is Solution Challenge? This is an annual contest that we run. It kicks off around in January and it wraps up around in March, where we give you a theme to start building, finding problems and start building solutions for it. So last year's theme was 17 sustainability goals outlined by the United Nations, and it varies from year to year, but the overall core mission is the same. So I highly recommend you take a look at, do a quick search for Solution Challenge, both on Google and YouTube. Read up the rules. You can get started today if you want to. You don't have to wait till January. But once the theme comes in, you'll be able to customize it accordingly. Also on YouTube, you can watch all the demo days. So we select the top 10 projects that come our way, and we have a huge demo day across the world. So last year and this year, both of them were done virtually on YouTube, so you can access all that as well. So I have a clip. Let's see how. So that's a quick clip about Solution Challenge. yeah, so the top 10 teams, the presentations are also available on YouTube. You can do a quick search. I highly recommend you take a look at this year's and last year's. Some of those ideas are like out of this world. It was really good to see. Yeah, so what's the benefit of joining Google Developer Student Clubs? There are no memberships. Um, it's free for anybody who's interested in technology to join. You get to work with some real world problems. We always push you to do things like that. And then if you end up learning some of these things, if you end up being familiar with some of these technologies, you can get a boost on your resume. Um, and we also help bridge that theoretical to practical hands-on experience that you might not get depending on the program you're in. And you'll get other developer resources. You build your network, and there's a lot more, right? So last year we did 1,700 events, reach out to more than 40,000 students, and some of them end up becoming friends. And a lot of those clubs ended up participating. There's some amazing stories that came out of it. So all this is great stuff, and we want to see this grow again this year as well. So one last thing, as I always wrap up my presentations, I know this sounds a lot of work, but there's no point if you're not making sure that you're having fun. You're having fun doing it. So I don't want you to feel like this is a job. Enjoy the camaraderie you get on the peer network that you're tapping into. So, for example, during exam time, I don't expect leads to run cloud study jams. I want them to run like game nights and chill with the other student members, student clubs globally, as well as if you want to do study nights. Because Conestoga College in Waterloo ended up doing that, and they ran a series on data structures and algorithms during exam time. And a lot of students who had that classes ended up joining and asking questions. And it's not just always building things with code. Sometimes you got to understand what other elements you're going to be needing in your day to day, right? So yeah, keep that in mind. That being said, my name is Smita Shakure. You can track me down if you want to connect with me anytime, and I'm happy to take any questions from the audience or from John and his team. Back to you, John.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Madhusha, for that really informative presentation. I hope you guys got a little bit more information out of what and understand what DSC is about. I know, last year when I was in the executive team, it was the global and the community, the feel, a sense of community was like what motivated me to become a DSC lead.
So one interesting thing with John was he was kind of nervous. He's like, I'm not a computer science person. I did the finance. And I'm like you got what you need. And the fact that he's not is even beneficial because that means he can appeal to others who are non-computer science or engineering, right? So yeah, don't and the reason I'm saying this is even if you're thinking about becoming a lead or applying to becoming a lead, keep that in mind for anything you do in life. Like give it a shot, see what happens, right?
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much, Madhusha.
Yeah.
And,
So somebody,
sorry, go ahead.
sorry, somebody said Steve J. Just dropped a note saying, I think I've seen you. Yeah, he says the algorithm workshop helped him a lot in second year. So actually, the credit should go to Alexander and Andre, who put the sessions together, but it's good to see.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much, Madhusha. And then Madhusha will be here in the chat. And then, if you guys have any questions, please drop them in the chat, and then he'll be there to respond to it. All right, let's continue with our presentation. So what we hope to bring you guys this year with DSC is that we hope to bring you some workshops and guest speakers who can do informative talks and such and so forth. Some of those things are Google Cloud fundamentals, using Google Cloud platforms, teaching tools. Next year we're planning to bring in Google experts, like Madhusha said earlier, and we'll be hosting workshops with them as a host. Next is the Google Study Jam, which is similar to Experts Talk, but we'll be bringing in Google experts to hold workshops in a variety of topics such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, Google Cloud Platform, cloud applications, web apps, and Go. Next up is the club projects. We'll be telling you more about the club projects sometime this year, later this year, or early next year. What we're basically trying to do is gather all the members of our club and using what they've learned through our workshops and talks, and put that into an actual project. And we can put it on. It's really good for first-year students who might want to put something on their resume or on their LinkedIn. So in the chat, I'd just like to know what the guys in the chat, what you guys are most excited to learn about from all these topics. Oh, we have a question here. Salwan Al-Dahab, how do we get involved? So it doesn't really matter if you're first year, second year, third year, fourth year, but you guys can join in our club projects after learning, coming to our Google experts and workshops. And Jingya Su, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Are we working as a team for projects? You can work you can work individually, but we are mainly planning for you guys to work as a team. Anything you guys are excited to learn about, please drop them in the chat. Oh, sorry. The issues in the chat has actually corrected me that you guys need to be in a team of 4 for the solutions challenge. Rebecca John, learning new things and networking. Awesome. Just give it a couple more seconds for people to respond. Machine learning and networking. Awesome. AI, ML. Great. All right, yeah, so we're building web apps. Yeah, that's good. We'll have those as well. Yeah, so all these things that you guys are saying, we'll definitely be having them in a workshop and an event sometime this year and next year. So do keep an eye out for our email and our notifications on our Discord channel. So like I said, the Google Cloud Study Jams, what you guys can do is you guys can join in our study jams led by either a Google expert or one of our technical leads. And you guys can learn about a lot of things, different things like Google Cloud, ML APIs, face recognition, maps, text-to-speech, and such and so forth. And what's important about these study jams is that you guys can actually join in, and you guys can go on Google Quick Labs and earn certifications that you guys can put on your LinkedIn and your resume. And if you guys don't know about what Quick Labs is, I'll tell you about in just a second. So Quick Labs is a virtual learning cloud environment. It's a platform where you guys can go on which provides training and Google cloud services. And what the main point is that you guys are learning in a virtual environment, anywhere, anytime, on any device. And they're designed to get you through trained in Google technologies and Google Cloud platforms. And what you guys have to do is you guys complete quests to obtain mastery in any particular skill, and then you guys can put that on your LinkedIn or on your resumes. So our next event that's coming up next week is on October 6th and then October 7th. The one on October 6th is Introduction to Golang and APIs. So that'll be led by our tech lead, Alan. You guys can use the QR code to directly go to the website to make an RSVP. And on October 7th, the very next day, is our second episode of our Legal Insights for Student Entrepreneurs. It'll be led by Suresh Surskandarajah. He's a technology lawyer who graduated from Osgood Law School, and he has multiple technical backgrounds, experiences, and large tech companies such as NVIDIA, BlackBerry, and Amazon. So make sure to check those out and RSVP for those events. So our biggest event for this year and next year is our second hackathon, UHacks 2022. It'll be happening on February 18th and 19th. That's our reading week in February. So stay tuned for that. We'll have a lot of cool prizes and really cool, interesting hacking topics. So you guys can contact us on our DSC York Q as a general member. You guys can use this QR code to join us as a general member, or you can type in this link right here. Or you can join us on our Discord, and you guys can also use this Discord or use this link right here. You guys can also join us on Facebook, Instagram, and you can join us on our LinkedIn group. All right, that will wrap it up for our info session. Thank you very much for you guys for joining our info session today. And then we'll move on to some questions. So Jingya Su, will we be able to have those events on campus? So all of our events that we plan on will be virtual because of we don't know what's going to happen with COVID. And having events virtual has an advantage of grabbing experts all around the world, all around North America, and just as a safety measure. And Steve, the workshop. What specific questions do you have for workshops? If you guys have any other questions, you're welcome to drop them. So the Create series is an event that I just mentioned, that'll be run by Alan. Do we have any access to last year's workshops? Last year's workshops, I'm not quite sure whether you have access to this. Madhusha, do you want to drop in to answer that one? Madhusha, I think you're muted.
Sorry, you got to be specific as to what workshops you're talking about. However, if you're talking about the series that we did, so for example, Firebase series, Flutter series, Android series, data structures and algorithm series, those are all available on YouTube. Make sure to check the YouTube channel called Think Outside the Valley that still has all the content and everything. And on the descriptions on the videos, you'll see a Discord channel that's being shared. John, maybe what we can do is, I think you probably, York University also promoted some of those events. So if you are wondering what those are, so if you go to York University's website, GDSC page, you'll see past events and you'll get all the information there, and you can go back to this other thing. I'll put the links on the chat so you all can just check those out. All of them are available. Now, the reason I brought the Discord server is the people who did the sessions are on that Discord server. So let's say you're running it, you're doing it, you're watching the video and you get stuck. You'll be like, hey, Rohan, who did the Flutter, say, hey, Rohan, I got stuck here. What should I do? Or Dalton or Rafa, I got stuck with the Firebase users. What do I do? So we created it in such a way that it's available even after the event, but you'll still get the same mentorship that you're looking for from your peers. So I'll put those links here on our private chat, and the leadership team will share that with you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Madhusha. So we'll bring on Alan to talk about his tech series, his introduction to Golang and APIs, just for one moment. Alan, go ahead.
Hi, folks. Thanks for bringing me on. So yeah, I want to tell you all about the event that I'm going to be running and make sure that everyone watching this now and watching this later can hear a bit about it. So over my past few years' experience, I've been doing a lot to learn, how enterprise and how startups both work through both my courses and experience. I actually have my own tech startup, but I've also worked at Coinbase, and I'm going to be working there again in August 2022. So I want to tell you all about this Golang introduction event for this Create series, where you'll be learning how to really develop web apps front end to back end, how you can integrate parts of data science, and how can you make things work and be deployed so it's an actual usable application, which is super awesome if you want to do both hackathons or you want to create your own company or work at another one. So I have my little Golang gopher here that I hope you all can see that I got from the Go Turns 10 meetup in Toronto, in January 2020. And I hope me and my gopher will see you at this event. It's going to be super awesome. Make sure you tell all your friends, and you're going to learn a lot there, not just about, programming in a new language, but also about a lot of concepts that are really important in industry and for personal projects. So that's all I have to say, and I'll pass it back for the rest of the presentation.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alan. Yeah, so make sure to join in, guys. I'm sure his workshops will be really informative. So are there any other questions that you guys like to ask? Just drop them in chat. No pressure. Give it a couple more seconds. All right. Well, I guess if there aren't any questions, I guess that's it. That's a wrap for our event today. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. A special thank you to Medusha. Thank you for dropping in on such a busy day. I'm sure you guys are really busy as of this week.
By the way, if there's one question I can ask Alan,
yeah,
if he can bring him back.
Yeah, Alan, go ahead.
Alan, you there?
Hi, I am.
sorry to bring you back.
Couch, no worries.
Very quickly, what is Golang? Break it down.
Yeah, what is Golang? Well, Go is a programming language that's used a lot in creating all sorts of things, from web projects to different systems. Go is actually a language that came out of Google 11 years ago to address a lot of problems people had when using languages like C or Java. So it's able to use concise language to make something really easy to represent a system with. And I think anyone who wants to make either web or cloud systems or programs just for your desktop will really find this language super useful. All languages can be great, but it's a super awesome language that I think all of you will benefit from. It's what I use at work, and many companies are starting to use every day. So feel free to read on it, and I'll be going through the Go introduction with folks before I teach you more. Sorry, Medusha, you had a question?
Yeah, so is this a good replacement? Because I'm not familiar with Go. I know the backstory about Go, but is it better than Node.js, or is it a replacement for Node.js, or it complements Node.js?
Yeah, well, so thinking about how, JavaScript is, Node.js is like a backend, just-in-time, system. Okay. It can be great, when you want to develop, full stack apps and just stick to JavaScript or just stick to TypeScript. And so that can be really useful for hackathons. But if you like an approach of really developing your front-end systems and your back-end systems separately, in the sense that you're not kind of hacking your back-end with JavaScript, but you're really using a dedicated language built for back-ends, same thing, versus Python. Python is not really meant to be, a systems language. And so I think that if you use JavaScript and if you like Python, you want to see how you can make a better backend that's going to be easier to read, easier to maintain, you should definitely check out Go. But Go does, although it does have its own front-end templating engine similar to something in Django in Python, and what's basically native in JS and JavaScript, it still is able to function, run JS, run JavaScript, run Vue, and all that things. But the way I'm going to show folks actually how to use it will be as a separate front end and a separate back end, which will be really cool.
Okay. One last question, John. Sorry, Alan. What's your startup about? You mentioned you're working on a startup. Curious to know, because I always want to see what students are building, what they're working on.
Absolutely. So yeah, my startup's name is Radar. Radar is a new way of connecting with people that you share hobbies with, want to do activities with, or want to go to events with. So, be it if you're looking for new cycling or running partners, trying to find people to go camping with, trying to find people to go to a concert or art festival or a Comic-Con, or even, CubeCon with, whatever it is, you can meet on this app. And so it's kind of, addressing a lot of needs that aren't there that were, meetup.com kind of failed to do on a more person to person level. And, a lot of the meeting apps like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, they're all generally to relationships, and you have to cast a really wide net. You're never really appealing to specifically this. So, you create a specific profile for what you're looking for, like biking. We have lots of rich features for each category that we create. And we're actually going to be having our MVP done December 8th, hopefully. And then, fully launching after our alpha and beta in April. So you can hear more about that if you know the Bergeron Entrepreneurs in Science and Technology at York University and Lausanne School of Engineering is a startup kind of accelerator, almost in startup and entrepreneurship hub for students. I actually work there, and it's a fantastic resource for, I'm sure, a lot of students here and a lot of students who will be listening later to just know about. You don't have to be a Lausanne student or engineering computer science student to go there, but it's there to help accelerate science and technology ventures. So I definitely recommend checking out. That's where my startup is, but also I love the community, and I'm even working there as a work study this semester.
Thank you so much, John. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, you guys. Yeah, so I think that wraps it up for our presentation today. Thank you very much for joining in. And as a reminder, please do join in on our general member list. Let me go back to the slide here. Yeah, and join us on our Discord so you guys can know what kind of events that we have planned, and join our general member list so that we have a little more information about you guys, and we know what kind of events to bring you guys so that you guys be interested. And this event will be recorded in case you guys want to go back to any part that you guys missed. And and it'll be on our YouTube channel, so you make sure to check that out. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. And I hope to see you guys on the next week's event on our Alan's workshop event and our second series of our Legals Insights for Student Entrepreneurs.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.